25. The first thing nobody tells you about starting a company is that it doesn't start with a company. It starts with 2,000 euros and a Sunday afternoon. There is no logo. There is no team. There is no product yet. There is a problem you keep noticing in your day job that nobody is solving well, and a small, stubborn feeling that you might be the one to fix it. So you do what every founder before you has done. You don't quit your job. You don't tell anyone. You build the first version on weekends, on a laptop at your kitchen table, with the same 2,000 euros in savings you would have used for a trip. The thing you build is bad, genuinely, embarrassingly bad. It doesn't matter. The point of this phase isn't the product. The point is that you crossed a line most people never cross. You stopped just thinking about it. The 2,000 euros isn't the investment. The Sunday is the investment. You're not a founder yet. You're someone with a kitchen table and a problem you can't stop thinking about. That's how every billion starts. 26. 6 months in. You have something that works, barely, and you do the thing every first-time founder dreads. You ask someone to pay for it. The first person says no. So does the second. So does the seventh. And then someone, you will remember this person for the rest of your life, sends you 50 euros for the thing you built on your kitchen table. 50 euros? It is the smallest amount of money you have ever cared about, because it isn't 50 euros. It is proof. Proof that a stranger you have never met decided, for their own reasons, that what you made was worth more to them than what they had to give up to get it. That is what a business is. Not the idea, not the prototype, the moment a stranger pays. For the first time, you are not someone who has an idea for a company. You are someone who has a company. It earns almost nothing. It barely covers your hosting bill. But the version of you that existed before that 50 euro payment is gone, and the version that exists after, that one keeps building. 27. 18 months in. The side project earns about $1,500 a month now, roughly a quarter of your salary, after taxes. By every reasonable metric, it would be insane to quit. By every reasonable metric, it would also be insane to keep working evenings and weekends for another 2 years until it replaces your income. You have done the math. You have run the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet says wait. The spreadsheet always says wait. So, you do something the disciplined saver version of you would have called reckless. You give yourself 18 months of runway, hand in your notice, and walk out of the office for the last time on a Tuesday in October. The fear isn't poetic. It is bills. It is your parents' worried voices on the phone. It is the silence of an empty Wednesday when nobody is paying for your time. But here's the thing nobody tells you. The moment you can no longer fall back, you stop hesitating. The work doubles in quality. The decisions get sharper. The company that took 18 months to get to $1,500 a month gets to $5,000 a month in the next 4. Not because you got smarter, because you finally had to. 28. The company now earns enough that you have a quiet, terrifying realization. You cannot do all of it anymore. There are emails you don't answer for 3 days because you are writing code. There are customer problems that fall through the cracks because you are doing taxes. The bottleneck is no longer the market. The bottleneck is you. So you do the next thing every founder must do, and most don't do well. You hire your first person. Not a freelancer, not a contractor. A person whose Monday morning income depends on what you built. You will overthink this hire. Everyone does. You will worry about whether you can afford them. You will worry that you'll have to let them go in 6 months. You will worry that they are better at the thing than you are. And if you hired well, they are. Then you will sign the contract anyway. And the day they take their first task off your plate is the day something shifts. You are no longer a person doing all of the work. You are a person whose company can do more work than you can. You have stopped being a freelancer with a brand. You have become a founder. 29. 3 years in. Until now, every customer felt like a small miracle. You had to chase, convince, follow up, sometimes beg. And then, somewhere in the middle of a perfectly ordinary week, the calls start coming in. The signups happen while you sleep. Your inbox is full of people you didn't reach out to. This is the moment you will hear other founders talk about in vague, reverent tones. Product market fit. It doesn't feel mystical from the inside. It feels like the air got thinner, like your work stopped being uphill and started being downhill. You are not selling anymore. You are managing demand. The price of this is that almost everything you used to do, the founder grinding, the personal sales calls, the manual onboarding, has to die. The company that succeeded by you doing everything will now fail unless you stop doing most of it. You are not doing less. You are doing different things. You are hiring 3 more people. You are setting up the systems. You are turning what was a hand-built craft into a machine. And the machine, for the first time, is earning more in a month than you used to earn in a year as an employee. 30. The 4th year. This is the year nobody puts on the highlight reel. A key hire, the one you trained for 9 months, who knew where everything was buried, leaves for a competitor. A bigger company launches the same product at half your price. A payment processor freezes your account for 2 weeks and you can't make payroll. Your personal net worth, which had been steadily climbing, drops back below where it was at 28. The version of you that thought you had it figured out a year ago is gone. Most founders quit somewhere in this phase, not because they are wrong about the market, because they are exhausted and the math has stopped making sense, and a job offer arrives from a serious company at 3 times your salary. You consider it. You consider it for a long time. And then you do the unglamorous thing. You cut what isn't working. You raise prices on the customers who still love the product. You have the conversations you have been avoiding, and you keep building. The crisis is not a sign you should stop. The crisis is the filter that separates the companies that exist from the ones that don't. You don't beat it by being smart. You beat it by being there when it ends. 31. 5 years in. The company that almost died last year is now earning more than it ever has. The team is 12 people. You no longer write any of the code. You no longer answer support tickets. You no longer do the things you started the company to do. What you do now is decide which of the next 10 things matters most and protect the people doing them from the noise of the other 9. The work is not better than the early days. It is not worse. It is different. And the numbers, finally, have stopped feeling fragile. The monthly revenue is bigger than your old annual salary. The bank account stays full enough that a bad month does not end the company. You start to notice something strange. When you tell people what you do, their reaction has changed. You are not trying something on the side anymore. You are running a company. The thing that used to live on a kitchen table now has an office, has health insurance for 12 families, has a clear answer to the question, what does it do? You are now, by every external definition, a real business. And for the first time, it feels less like climbing and more like steering. 33. 8 years from the kitchen table. A bigger company has been circling for a while. Same industry, deep pockets, looking to bolt your product into theirs. The first conversation was 4 months ago. The first number they put on the table was an insult. The number on the table now, after months of due diligence and lawyers and one moment in week 11 when the whole thing nearly collapsed, is 15 million euros. After your investors, after taxes, after the team payouts, you insisted on writing into the deal. You personally walk away with roughly 8 million. You will read books that tell you what to feel in this moment. None of them get it right. It is not euphoria. It is not relief. It is a quiet, surreal calm. The feeling of waking up in a life you sketched 8 years ago at a kitchen table and you don't quite recognize. Most of the money goes into the same boring, automatic index fund machine that the version of you at 22 would have started. Some of it pays for the things you couldn't before. A tiny part of it pays for the freedom to not need to do this again. Though, of course you will. Because what you actually learned in 8 years is that you are the kind of person who builds things. The money was the byproduct. The 8 years were the point.